I'm known by a few different people for a few different things, not in the sense of like any like major acclaim, but I am known to a few people as someone who's really into music, as someone who knows a lot about music, who really likes music, and I'm also known as someone who really likes film. And where there's a few different areas where those two kind of meet. Recorded sound has a lot of uses in film. There's musicals, but of course there's also concert films. And I love a good concert film. And I got to wondering what would be, in terms of what I have in my physical media collection, what would be my 10 favorite concert films. There's sort of a loose, these are all definitely concert films, but in some cases it's for more a tour than a single concert, and in another it's more a festival. I was way more torn on including those, and I think it's reasonable to be, but it really I was going back and forth for a very long time where it's like, well, it's not a single concert, no one gives. But I also have some runner-ups, some, what's the word, some things that almost made it, some more than others that I'm going to talk about. But without further ado, here's number 9. Here's number 10. This is a really interesting piece of Deep Purple lore. I'm forgetting if it's Mark 5 or Mark 6, but in the sort of final iteration of what is basically the original run of the band, there's like key components that get switched out, and like all the lineups have like different mark names. What is, give me a second and I'll edit which. Anyway, not important. This is a Deep Purple concert recorded in Japan in December 1975. It is only a 30-minute recording. It's pretty well shot. It's shot on 16mm. This is a DVD release, and I'm pretty sure it's the only release of it. It also came with a CD, and it also comes with a documentary. I do really quite like this. I was into Deep Purple a lot, particularly when I was in high school, and there's just something about the combination of, and like, not necessarily everyone, but like there's this vibe of everyone's out of their mind on drugs, particularly like Glenn Hughes and Tommy Bolin. But just this combination, Tommy Bolin is the guitar player who replaced Richie Blackmore, who's sort of like, what some people would almost say is like, that guy is, to them, Deep Purple. That's not quite the case for me, but Tommy Bolin had more of like a jazz, fusion, funk-ish type background. He was briefly the guitar player in James Gang, one of the guitar players after Joe Walsh left that group. And he's a really great fit in the kind of heavy jam, funk. Anyway, what I really like is the combination of, not the combination, but just of Glenn Hughes and David Coverdale singing, because they're both like too over the top, it's nacho cheese on nacho, like it's just thick, not necessarily robust, but it's alluring. And what's interesting about this is Tommy Bolin had fallen asleep on his arm on the plane ride over, one of his arms that he used to play guitar as guitar player. And so he was not really able to he was only, I think, able to play like bar chords essentially. And you get this really fascinating thing, because most people, when they think of Deep Purple, at least to me, and what I've encountered in the past, is they think of the guitar first with Deep Purple. And you really get a guitar in the, like, it's there, but it's just the fair, like, it's more rhythm guitar, like lead. And it's really, like, you get to hear the bass, you get to hear the drums, and especially you get to hear like the keyboards and organs, which is really like, there's a lot of great like band lifting, not necessarily in terms of the bass playing, but the drums and the organ. Ian Pace, drums, John Lord, incredible in this concert. And yeah, it's just a fascinating film. Next up we have Beach Boys, Good Vibrations Tour, or as it's sometimes released, It's Okay. This is... It's okay. Next up, we have a really well-made Elvis Presley film from 1970, concert film, That's the Way It Is. I don't specifically have a lot to say. This was shot by something nope, they don't list the cinematographer, but the cinematographer on this is Lucien Ballard, who shot The Killing, Stanley Kubrick, who shot Murder by Contract. I think that might have been Irving Pinchot. But he shot a lot of really great films, and he also shot this, and he shot it really well. And Elvis just, he had a set, and he had it down pat, and he would like bring in new material and swap things out, but he really just had, like, he had a well-regulated show with this, like, big ass fan. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Elvis, but like when he's doing this stuff, especially early on, like it's so dialed in, and it's deeply impressive. Like, wow! Performance, great stuff. Next up, now with this release, I haven't seen the sort of weird generated graphics and the stuff that was really shady. Performances to the with this Seattle, which was shot from and performances, Monday, Wood, Live on Day, I mean, echoes. It's incredible. Almost thought I had to sneeze. Next up, Neil Young, Heart of Gold. Sort of an underrated Jonathan Demme movie. A lot of people kind of go to one particular Jonathan Demme concert film, but Jonathan Demme actually made 3 concert films / documentaries with / for of Neil Young. This is the first one from 2006 from a 2005 performance at the Ryman Auditorium. It's him performing songs. He plays the entire album, but like it's one song's included as a bonus feature. For all intents and purposes, he does play the entire album of Prairie Wind, which had come out earlier in the year, or was recorded earlier in the year, and this is him, I think, sort of debuting that. It's a really great album, really great band, Emmylou Harris is there singing on a few songs. Ben Keith is playing, and he is just one of the best musical collaborators of Neil Young, and he is sort of, at least my understanding is, he was more of like a classical Nashville session guy, or at least like he was within a class that was like he was within like that range of people before he got pulled into the Neil Young orbit, playing of course on some Patsy Cline records, but as someone who had more of like a country kind of thing, this more country album from Neil Young, he's just really, the slide work, I think there might be some dobro, but it's incredible playing. Following that, we have a Martin Scorsese Bob Dylan film, this one being on a tour, and not even a complete tour, just a partial look at the Rolling Thunder Revue. The concert footage in this wasn't shot by Scorsese. The stuff that Scorsese shot is the documentary around it. The concert footage in the film from '75 has Bob Dylan probably at his best live in terms of live bands, although he's always had a really good live band, and he's a fascinating live performer. But there's a lot of Joan Baez is involved in the tour, so there's footage of her, Joni Mitchell, Roger McGuinn, but also in the house band is Mick Ronson on guitar, not long after he was playing with David Bowie during the Ziggy Stardust period / Aladdin Sane, because he's also on that album, and I think Pinups also, and even before that. Not important, but he is really great here too. Next up, we have Neil Young, live in Berlin, or just, I think it's Neil Young in Berlin. This isn't really a super known film. Around this time, there's another concert film made up of, I think, similar material. I haven't seen it in a while, but that one's called Neil Young Solo Trans, and it's of material that is on the 1982 Trans album as the main bulk of the set, although this is kind of buttressed and then supplemented by, similarly with Heart of Gold, with what would be, at that time, it's more like a broad greatest hits, and this is a more, not as broad, but it's a more condensed, like, play hits, greatest hits that are included on here, like Cinnamon Girl, After the Gold Rush, and of course, Hey Hey My, which, like, it's a really weird band. Nels Lofgren sort of has like a dual lead in terms of guitar and not necessarily vocals, but he's really energetic. The quality of this is not good on DVD, and it just has this 80s weird just vibe that you don't really get from most Neil Young recordings, and also Ben Keith is in this band too, so there's a lot of really proficient, amazing playing. And not just on that end, Bruce Palmer, who was in Buffalo Springfield, who is, I believe, the original bass player for Buffalo Springfield, so goes back a really long way with Neil Young, is playing bass on this. Ralph Molina, other people that I don't really know as much, but it's a great, really interesting band, especially the newer material. It's worth a watch. if you hate Neil Young, especially, I think, you might end up hating him more, to be fair. Next up, we have Ashes of American Flags. This is a 2009 concert film. Although this is also not. It's from several stops on the same tour. And it is Wilco. Wilco is my favorite band. I have seen them 30 plus times. There's a lot of material that's come out since then that I really like. There's a lot of material from before this that I really like. There's a lot of material like from 2009 Wilco the album that I really like. I just really like Wilco. It's just a phenomenal set. If I recall correctly, I really love the version of Handshake Drugs that's on here, as well as You Are My Face. But it's just the entire film is songs that it's any recording of Wilco is essentially my favorite recording of Wilco, which is probably one day gonna bite me in the ass. But I really love this band, and I think this is a really great performance. And this also has a performance at the Ryman Auditorium, and the band, at least Jeff Tweedy, I think it's just Jeff Tweedy. Jeff Tweedy is wearing a very well-made nudie suit with rhinestones and all that. Next up, number 2, before we have a quick run through of honorable mentions. The Jonathan Demme movie that most people think of in terms of concert films, Stop Making Sense. This is the 4K from A24. This is pinnacle performance. This is fantastic. This is a band, just incredible. It's so many amazing players, so many amazing songs. The suit, just the movement of everyone, how it's shot. It's really, it's not the most showy in a lot of ways, but it speaks to what you can do with a concert film. I believe Jonathan Demme also made a Robin Hitchcock, getting his name, but a film of his called Storefront Hitchcock. I'm gonna put the poster here. That looks interesting. I haven't seen it, but Demme has a very fascinating, intriguing, fascinating isn't the word, had an intriguing approach to making concert movies, and this is sort of the ground floor of that. It's really just, for a lot of reasons and for a lot of people outside of Demme, it is deeply foundational work that is energetic, just joyful. It is just, it's what you'll want from a recorded performance on film. Shit. Honorable mentions. Now, this was recorded after Milan began flood, so this ends up being the last recording. I believe this was also filmed for, this is the last recording, full film thing. I think incredible recording. I really love leadership that music that has in your body. I really like that in your rose itself. So hearing after real yeah. Next up, Getting Studio for Power Live in the hands of the fans. This is from 2010. The Union began their union phase where James Williamson came back and was playing, and they started to play material from Raw Power, and then some of the non-album material such as Open Bleed, Mike Watts, Fantastic Bass Edition. I have completely songs pop. Speaking of completely songs, Roger Smash and Young. This is live in London, Stadium, 1940. It's a 3-hour-long concert. Most of the playing is bad, incredibly bad. People forget lyrics. It's pretty embarrassing, but there's not really any footage of your performance in 1974 in the radio song for that's pushed it over the end. Faces, Rolling Sunrise, Blow Like Blues, incredible on these material, and especially when you're from the band, push over the enders, a lot of great CC with guitar things. Next up, Steve Purple Live.
live in California, 1964, at the California Jam. Famously, Richie Blackmore, who's still contained at this point, attacks a camera at the end of the concert and just destroys the camera after destroying the star. Then we have 3, Stacks, Volts, Review, Live Norway, April 7, 1967, Song Music, incredible performances, great vocals and MDs along with Marquis. This is Louis with Jeff Kaale and Nico Paris 1972. This is a compilation recording including one song from this 1972 recording, and then it's 2 separate recordings, one from Paris 1974 and one from Brussels 1974. And this is from his sort of funky rock and roll animal Louis live guitar forward, where he's not playing guitar sound and he's just kind of doing the cartoon of a rock and roll singer. And interestingly enough, it's some of his best performances because he's not he's kind of shutting up and just doing this character mostly. But I think it helps to go in thinking of it that he's doing a character. 80s performance, A Night with Lou Reed. Forgetting when it is, but this is from the period where Robert Quinn is playing guitar and Lou Reed is playing guitar on this, and he just played very well off of Robert Quinn. He played very well off of Robert Quinn guitar-wise. Then, to finish this out, we have Monterey Pop Festival, the... God damn it, my brain isn't working. The D.A. Pennebaker Film Classic. It's sort of just one festival, 3 days, foundational festival in terms of concerts, as festivals, rock festivals, and also concert films. Very weird performance of Eric Curtin, and a lot of people know this, but people with listening can't find it, but did not cite at all. And there's still really not a definitive answer. I think it's sort of like a combination of several things, but there's still really not a definitive answer for why the people didn't play. And then in the background this entire time has been the VHS of the visual live from Long Island's playing. Most of these have been on DVD. It's not making sense, that's the way it is. 4K, Blu-ray, respectively.